Welcome to Talk South Asian to Me, Season 3. My name is Michelle.
And my name is Anisha. Tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. Central and hear us react to each other's stories about mental health and growing up in different South Asian households.
And remember, this podcast is not therapy. Engage with what feels entertaining and resonates with you, and leave what doesn't. Okay, I don't even know what episode number it is, but I know we're on letter F.
I was counting.
Count the
It's
letters. Episode 6. There we go. Wait,
episode
that took us a second.
B. I was counting.
Season 3, episode 6. All right, so if you have listened to a few of our episodes in season 3, we do have some segments that we like to add this season to spice things up. So the segment for today is Slayer Name. Are you ready for the Slayer Name?
Add the masala. I'm ready.
Okay, all right, here you go. You haven't seen an auntie in a long time after losing some weight. And she says, Beta, you look so good. Is that a slay or is that a nay? Ooh, this one's tricky.
Nay.
Okay. Why would you say it's a nay?
It's an A. Because even though it sounds like a compliment, whether or not you've actually lost weight, it sounds like a compliment when people say, "Oh, you've lost weight." I think we're still in a place in 2025 where we can maybe just not comment on bodies altogether.
I would have to agree with you. It's like a backhanded compliment. It's like, you look so good now.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
now,
did I
after you
not
lost
look good
weight.
before auntie? Like, what are you trying to say? You know?
Exactly. You don't know why that is. You don't know if they were like working out. You don't know if they were self-conscious and try to work out. You don't know if they're going through something, health.
Chronic
You know, just don't
illness.
do it.
Yeah,
Don't do
it
it.
could be anything.
That's an A for me.
What really gets to me, it's really hard, is like coming up with responses. Like,
how do you
do you
react to that?
yeah, like how do you respond to that?
Yeah. Well, I think that's a very personal of a question, right? Like to say, "Oh, you've lost weight." So I guess it depends on like how the person feels.
Yeah.
You know, I know some people are like, smile and grit your way through it.
Yeah.
Some people might want to be a little bit feistier with it and be like, "No, I didn't," or just kind of say something back to them about their weight. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like I've had this before, and I've been a little like sassy. Like when they say, "Beta, you look so
Hey,
good,"
what do
I'd be
you
like, "Oh, did I
say?
not look good before?" Like
I
that's what
love
I like. Like, did I not look good before, auntie? What are you saying? Like to
I
joke it off
know.
like that. But
I
you're
love
still
that.
like,
Be
showing
sassy.
them.
I like the sassy version
Yeah,
always.
me too. Me too. Because then they don't know what to say in response.
No, I mean, you know what they're gonna say. They're gonna be like, "No, you always look
No,
good."
yeah. They try to correct themselves.
Yeah. It's a good reminder though. Like a
Yes.
very subtle, non-confrontational way to kind of remind somebody like what you really trying to say here.
Okay, that was our next Slayer Nay. So if you have any Slayer Nays, send us them our way. That rhymes. Send them our
Intentional, intentional.
way. I like this one a lot. You know I like this one a lot.
I know. This is your favorite segment.
It just flows so well. It rolls off the tongue so well. It's a good
Slayer
one.
Nay.
Slayer Name. Okay, now get into the meat of our episode. Here we go. So yes, we're on letter F. When we counted the number, we're at episode number 6, which is great. Are you ready for the topic reveal?
I'm ready.
Okay. Topic for this episode is fixing the fixer mentality. It's like an alliteration. Fixing
Love
the
that.
fixer mentality.
Powerful title. Let's get
Right?
into it.
Yeah. What does that mean? Okay, so I did some research and there was a lot out there, but I kind of wanted to find some research that would really like keep things concise and consolidate. So of course, like I'll do some defining and then kind of talking about how the fixer mentality affects people in relationships and then how can one overcome. That's kind of be like the overview. So I found this really great article. It's called Navigating the Fixer Mentality, and it's written by Kelly McKenna, who's a licensed therapist. And this therapist has a blog called Sit with Kelly, and this was an article on it on the blog. Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
Have you heard of Sit with Kelly? Okay.
I engage with her actually.
You do?
Wait, I don't know. I'm a long-time follower, but there's more therapists I've been engaging with, and I think so, but I don't know. Maybe I've just seen her handle a lot because I love her stuff.
That's cool. It's like I knew, right? Connections. Yeah. I also found another article from Psychology Today called Overcoming the Fixing Fixation. So all this stuff will be kind of combination.
Ooh, their title's nice too. I like it.
So the let's define the fixer mentality, or also known as the fixer syndrome. Okay, so if someone has a fixer mentality, they have a need to fix things beyond their control. So in order to function properly, a person with the fixer mentality feels responsible to fix everything around them. So where does this come from? It comes from many different factors: psychological, emotional, situational. Different factors can contribute in a person's fixer mentality, and it can start at a very young age. So some factors are perfectionism. If that's a trait that a person has, it's highly associated with the fixer mentality, right? A person, when they strive for perfectionism, they have unreasonable expectations for themselves and others, right? So then they want to kind of make sure everything is the way they want. It's perfect. And so that's kind of helps them. People who practice or think that they want to strive for perfectionism, they kind of practice a fixer mentality by being like, okay, I need to fix this for this to be perfect. I need to fix this. I need to fix that. Kind of continuing to like, oh, I need to fix this. Childhood experiences and expectations. I thought this was an interesting when kids, children and their families, if they're given validation when they fix something or kind of solve something, and that's the only time they're receiving validation, they kind of adopt that fixer mentality that kind of relates with their identity. Like if I adopt and practice this fixer mentality, then I'm going to receive validation in my life.
Spoiler alert, that's my story.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. I'm ready. And then this one is something I resonate with, and foreshadowing in my story is the control challenges or control issues. So a lot of people will kind of use control as a coping strategy. And when you feel like you're out of control in a situation, and to regain some control, you practice the fixer mentality, like, oh, like this is out of my control, but how can I fix it, or how can I help? And research says that like the fixer mentality may temporarily relieve anxiety and fear, like they're using that as a coping strategy, but it's not permanent, right? Like that anxiety and fear, that it only fixes the symptom, not the root.
Right. Situational symptom of
that. Yeah. So that's kind of like the root of how the fixer mentality can come about in a person. Now, once a person has a fixer mentality, they might not know, right? Like this is something that could be innate to them that they learned at a young age. But what kind of challenges a person who has a fixer mentality, what kind of challenges do they face? So this one's a big one. It can drain the person's time and energy. When they're constantly wanting to fix things, whether it's their own problems or other people's problems, they're not even relevant to them, right? Like they're always wanting to fix things around them. There's not enough time and energy for themselves, for self-care, for personal growth. Acceptable, and it's understandable that even if you have a fixer mentality, you cannot fix 100% of things, right? Like it's inevitable. So when you cannot feel that you can fix something, right, which is inevitable, it can happen, this can cause feelings of inadequacy, feeling of failure.
Yeah. That's big. The fear of failure with this.
Yeah. And then it can also actually hurt relationships. And this is something that was like, once I read this, I was like, okay, this makes sense, but I didn't really think of it as the top of my head, right? Like friends and family may see you as controlling and may not be comfortable sharing their problems because you're all constantly offering advice, maybe when it's not requested. Right. So they might feel like, instead of like, not everybody who vents to you or talks to you about their problems or is looking for a solution. They might just need someone who's actively listening, a listening ear. But if you have that fixer mentality, you're like, I care about them, let me just give them a solution.
I want to fix it for them. Yeah. I don't want them to be sad, disappointed, whatever.
Right. And to the opposite person, it might seem like, oh, this person's trying to control my situation when I just want them to listen.
Yeah.
Right.
I call this the Bob the Builder.
Oh, really?
In sessions, because like I just thought it was a clever way of like saying fixing it, right? Like taking responsibility for other people's problems. I kind of make it like because I do parts work, right? We talk a lot about that. So I always say, this is your Bob the Builder part. Okay, let's talk about Bob the Builder here. What's he trying to accomplish? And is that what the other person wants? Do they want your help? Do they ask for your help?
Yeah. Does Bob need to be there?
Yeah. Does Bob the Builder need to be there?
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe he needs to take a back seat and take a break. Take a lunch break.
A lunch break. Get out of here.
There you go. And then another way it can impact a person, and this is again along the lines we've already been talking about, is like blurred boundaries. So when you're with people and you might be adopting and practicing the fixer mentality, it's like the boundary between helping versus controlling is kind of blurred, right? Like it's kind of like a fine line, and you're kind of tiptoeing on that. Yeah. So now how can this impact relationships? We kind of talked about how it
Juicy stuff.
stems. I know the juicy stuff. So a person with fixer mentality may have a lack of empathy, right? Because when you're a fixer and you have the fixer mentality, you're not really perspective taking. You're kind of just like, oh, you had this problem. This is how I would solve it. If you have this problem, this is how I'm going to solve it for you, or how you should solve it. Here's how I think you should solve it. Instead of being like, oh, like, let me listen to you, like, be empathetic, maybe take your perspective and understand where you come from, instead of just imposing what my solutions are on you.
Yeah, it can be, is what you're saying. That's interesting. I don't encounter that often, so I always forget that's a thing too. It can come from people who kind of feel that way of like, okay, well, everything's good. Here's what I would do. Here's what I would suggest, right? And like how that could be linked to lower levels of empathy sometimes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Can be being the key word, right? To anybody listening who's like, well, that's not me though. Fair enough. This is just like one of those examples. Just like there were 3 examples that you gave of how this can come about. It's an example. Okay.
Right.
What are the others?
Well, I want to go back to your analogy because it's so good. The Bob the Builder. It's like Bob the Builder, like he only knows his way of building.
Yeah.
But there's so many other ways of building, right?
That's
like,
true.
so Bob the Builder only knows one way.
Different architecture, different wood.
Exactly. So that's one way it can impact relationships. Another way the fixture mentality can impact relationships is by boundary violation, right? Like when, say, you're with your partner and they're having some challenges with work, or like they kind of just venting. Oh my gosh, I can't speak right now.
They're venting
with you. There you go. And instead of just listening, right, immediately, like I feel like a lot of people with a fixer mentality, their brains are going really fast and they're just kind of jumping to conclusions instead of just listening. And so kind of maybe like you're accidentally interrupting and like you're not fully listening to the story, or maybe they didn't request advice and you are, and that's not what they need in that moment, and that wasn't really helpful. So again, like boundary violations, right? Increased stress, that's a big one, right? When you are constantly thinking about how you can fix all the problems in the world, that is shooting your cortisol up, I'm sure. So no time to think about yourself and how to relax and do self-care and de-stress, because you're thinking about all the other things that you need to fix.
Yeah.
And then another way it can impact relationships is kind of ineffective solutions, which is the same thing of like kind of talked about, was it might not be the right solution for that person, right? Like if you're jumping to conclusions and jumping to fix whatever the situation is,
without hearing the full story
for that person.
Yeah, like based on what their values are, or like how they typically feel comfortable handling situations. Yeah.
And I want to like just put this out there that yes, this research is talking about like kind of in a negative way the fixer mentality, but again, it's not anyone's fault. Like we talked about how it stems from many different factors that are not in your control, right? A person in their childhood might adopt the fixer mentality because as a survival technique, because that's how they felt like they would receive validation. So again, like if you have this and you resonate with this, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, right? Let's just
it's not the end of the story.
It's just awareness right now, right? Like, okay, like do I want to continue this mentality or do I not, right? Like kind of asking those questions, recognition. Yes. So now this is a great segue to how to overcome.
Wait, before we get into that, I actually have one that I want to talk about. I talk about this all the time. Resentment. We forgot about that one.
Yes, resentment. Yes.
I feel like that is a really big one when it comes to how it ruins relationships, right? Is like it can build a sense of resentment. Also on this side, a unique side of whether it's because somebody's always giving you advice and like you're, like you said, right? Like they're not really listening. They don't make you feel validated. They don't make you feel heard. They're giving solutions that just aren't what you want to do. Whether it's like resentment because of that, or kind of on the other side of it, like resentment because you give, and you try to fix. But then maybe that's because you actually want that, but nobody does that for you. Right?
You expect the same from other people.
Yeah.
When it's not realistic. The fixer mentality is not realistic. That's a good one.
Resentment. Yeah, I like talking about that one because that happens a lot. And usually that's typically when people seek out help too, right? When they're like, at my wit's end here, I have all this resentment.
No, that makes sense. That's a good one. I really like I'm sure it's very common. Okay, now how to overcome. We already talked about this first one, recognition, right? Paying attention, being aware of your automatic response. When people are sharing your problems with you, do you immediately want to jump in and offer advice before the person even asks for it? Do you feel obligated to help? Like a compulsion, like, oh, I need to help this person and fix their problem for them. So it's important to take a moment to pause and reflect before you respond. So again, recognition is the first step.
Always a first
Then,
step
right,
in everything.
always. And then kind of self-awareness and self-compassion. Again, this is what I talked about earlier. Like once you become aware, like it's important to practice self-compassion and not blame yourself for this situation. To say, okay, now I'm aware. Let's take some time and effort to figure out like what's going on and how we can move forward. Practicing self-compassion is really important. And then setting healthy boundaries. So, if like, for example, if people get used to your fixer mentality as well, that could be, like you said, the resentment where people are dependent on you, even though they might not do the same thing for you, because again, it's not realistic, but they depended on your fixer mentality. And setting those healthy boundaries and saying like what do you, like, kind of putting it back, like being the active listener and being like, okay, like what do you think you should do, right? Like just being an active listener.
Yeah,
And
it's like getting
setting those
sucked
boundaries.
into it. Yeah.
And then setting boundaries for yourself too, like asking yourself that you have the capacity, the time, and the energy to fix this, right? Like, is it necessary? Does it directly relate to me or not? Right? Like, is this something, am I actively involved in this conflict for me to be actively involved in helping fix the problem? Or am I an outsider that's just listening and providing support, right? Like recognizing and setting those boundaries.
Yeah, and even like that simple question of what you said earlier too, right? Like of just even pausing to ask that question to yourself of, are they asking me for help and advice, or are they just like sharing this with me to like listen and vent?
And if you don't know, like a boundary is asking that question, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, like, do you want me to listen to you today?
Do
Or
you
do
want
you
me
want
to
me
share
to
some
share
things of
some
what
of
I
my
would
thoughts?
do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, or
exactly.
you can just tell me what you need, right? As we go on, right? Like give them
Best way to
the
protect your peace. Totally.
right. Exactly. And prioritizing self-care and seeking professional support. So those are the things that a person can do to overcome the fixer mentality.
Lovely. Love it.
So quick, short, little concise definition and kind of summary of the fixer mentality. There's so much more out there. When I tried to look up like South Asian kind of relevance, there wasn't a lot. There was a lot of like South Asian, like the fixer mentality kind of coming out of guilt tripping, which is like another topic that we can pretty much dive into. But again, the collectivist culture that we have, and the expectations that parents sometimes have for their kids, therapizing their kids, right? Like wanting their kids to be the one to fix their problems, especially the eldest born children. All of those play a role in developing and contributing to a fixer mentality. But there wasn't anything direct like related. It was kind of just like sprinkle of like, here's an article about guilt tripping in the South Asian household, and it was kind of like, okay, like how does the fixer mentality, like kind of like got one or two sentences out of it, not much, which was interesting.
It's so widely normalized that I feel like it doesn't even get picked up on the radar to be
Right.
something to like research or think about.
Yeah, it's kind of automatic. I feel like this is a generational thing for sure. Like, like the parents become the fixers for the grandparents, and then the children become the fixer for the parents, and it just keeps going on and on and on. It doesn't really stop until you actively stop it.
Well, a big part of it too, of like one of the origins of how you can get it is, very people pleasing oriented too. They kind of feed off of one another.
They do. They
Yeah.
do for sure.
Yeah. So it's kind of surprising that there wasn't like much articles around this in the South Asian community, but also maybe not so surprising. Just
Yeah.
because it feels like it's something that's so embedded and like a part of the people pleasing that it's not something that maybe people really call out and say, oh, that's what this is.
And this is why we're bringing light to it,
Yeah.
because it's very relevant, I would
So if
say.
somebody wants to go and research or talk about it, there we
Yes.
go.
And if we miss something, please let us know. Okay, ready for our stories?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So for me, I can definitely resonate with a fixture mentality. I'm sure you already know.
I do. I very well do.
In fact, I feel that I sometimes still struggle with it. Being the eldest daughter, I find value in being the fixer in the family, or at least I found. I'm getting a little bit better, but that's kind of been my role. It's like
Mm.
eldest daughter, people pleasing, put all those together in a salad bowl and then sprinkle in, not, and you get a fixture mentality salad, like all the things. So I do resonate with the validation during childhood, right? Like whenever I received validation, it was because I fixed something, or I fixed an issue, or mediate a conflict between my sister and my mom, even though it had nothing to do with me, right? It became kind of part of my identity. And I carried that with me throughout school and college. And I think I will say, I know I didn't talk about it in our research portion, but I feel like the fixture mentality does have its pros when it comes to like academic career success, because it kind of
The
helps you
drive.
it gives you the drive, it gives you it helps you be a problem solver, critical
Right.
thinker.
Yeah.
Like there are pros, right? When you
Yeah.
practice it within boundaries.
True.
So
And
I
even
feel
in
like,
relationships, there are
right.
pros. It's
Yeah.
not a bad thing. None of the things that we talk about, like people pleasing, are bad things.
Right. It's
It's just
balance.
when you do too much of it at the
Right.
detriment of yourself, they're not
Yes.
healthy for you.
Exactly. So I feel like it was pretty like perpetuated in school and college in my career, right? I remember being the person on the group project who's the glue, making sure everyone knows what they're doing, setting up meetings, like automatically assuming these roles, being the fixer, it's just not giving other people a chance, just like taking that role. And I think it has to do with the sense of control too. Like, oh, like if I take control, then it'll be done the way I want it to be done,
True.
right? Which
Yeah,
is
fair.
another kind of not so great quality of the fixture mentality, right? Like, oh, not being trusting of the others to practice and be successful, and trusting others. I
But that is
feel
something in your control. Like if you
right.
really, really care about it, it is in your control to be able to do that.
Exactly. It's kind of like the all or nothing mindset for a fixture mentality too, right? Like if I'm in charge of it, then I'm going to do it the right way. And then if I'm not in charge of it, it's not going to be done the right way. Like it's like the all or nothing
Or I'll have
mindset.
like no say.
Right.
Mm.
Right. I was definitely guilty of offering advice when it wasn't requested, with the right intentions, of course, out of care and support, but definitely would start catching myself like, oh, I just need to listen.
Mm.
I can see that it would make me feel in control, especially if I felt loss of control. I was a fixer the most, I think, with my sister. And I feel like the longest because it's a big portion of my life. I would automatically tell her what to do things for her instead of giving her space to figure things out on her own. When my parents would have a conflict with my sister, I would immediately jump in and try to mediate and support. Though, as you know, and I've talked about this too, I began to set boundaries for myself. I stopped being my sister's second mother, stopped mediating conflicts between my sister and my mom. It's definitely hard at first. They were pushing back. My mom sometimes will still call me and be like, this is happening with Inaya. Like, can you please talk to her?
Mm.
And it doesn't even involve me. And I'll be like, nope, I'm not going to talk to her because this is between you guys. Like, you guys need to work it out. So I'll set my boundary. I know. It felt good. And she was just like, okay. Like she was not
No,
expecting me to
auntie.
say that.
We're
Yeah.
just accepting it too.
Yeah. So honestly, after setting those boundaries, it's starting to feel very liberating. Like I
Nice.
do feel like, oh wow, like I have more time to myself. Like I'm not spending the time and energy to like think about others' issues and try to fix them. Like I almost had more space and time for myself, for my self-care. I love watching movies in my free time, so I'm starting to do that more, which is great. So my journey from moving away from the fixer mentality is still going, but this is a good start.
I love that for you. Yay. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And you feel more like lighter and like you just glow. There's like more calm, peaceful,
Yeah.
like energetic you. Whereas like, in the past, like granted, we were all kind of like this with our own stuff, but
Right.
in the past, like I could tell when you wanted to kind of like take on that role. You were our like little mom of the group, of course, right? Like that's another thing that fixer mentality people tend to be, right? Moms of the group.
Right.
And you tend to get tired though of doing that. Like you
Very.
feel weighed down sometimes, right? But
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you and proud of Auntie for being able to like accept this like change, because change can be difficult too, even though like it's not serving you clearly, so you're making the change, but for other people like
Right.
it was serving them, right? So this is a secondary surprise segment of Yay or Nay Auntie, and this is Yay Auntie.
Slayer.
Or
I love
Slay or
it.
Nay Auntie, yeah.
I
Silly
like
me.
yay or nay too. It's cute.
It's the same concept,
It
but
is the
Slay or
same
Nay.
concept. Yes.
And Auntie be slaying on this for
She
sure.
is. It's so funny. Like, this is so powerful. And I think in the beginning, I didn't realize how much power it held in like helping me set my boundaries. But like, my therapist voice keeps in situations like this, keeps going, like, it's been stuck with me is that you are not responsible for other people's reactions. And when a person
Mm.
has a fixer mentality, they're not only fixing like thinking about the conflict, they're thinking about aftermath. Like, oh,
Yeah.
how is that person going to react? Again, goes along with the people pleasing, but like, how is that person going to, let me fix that too. Right?
Yeah.
Like, let me fix the conflict, but I'm going to fix, if my actions are going to cause other reactions, I need to fix that too. And it's
Yeah.
like those words of like, you are not responsible to manage other people's reactions or control people's reactions. Other people's
Yeah.
reactions are a consequence of their own experience and thoughts, not about you.
Yeah.
And that kind of
Absolutely.
stuck with me.
Yeah. But it's not just like about conflicts, right? Like I feel like we're focusing on that and that's totally like very widely applicable. But this tends to also show up when somebody feels acutely responsible for someone's emotion, even like one on one,
Right.
right? Like not even about
Example.
mediating, but like even if it was like me and you in a conversation and then I do something and like that something upsets you, it's like me trying to fix it and be like, well, okay, what about this? And like, what about this? Like very people pleasing oriented, like wanting to fix your
Fix it.
mood.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Manage other
mood's your
people's
mood.
emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
And
managing
that's
other
okay. You can
people's
be
emotions.
disappointed. It just means that you had an expectation, didn't get met, and like
Yeah.
it obviously sucks, but I don't need to fix it.
Yeah. I think when a person has a fixture mentality, they feel responsible
Yeah.
for many
Everything.
things.
Yeah. Emotions,
Emotions.
reactions, conflicts. Just like you feel responsible for fixing anything that's not perfect.
Yep. Exactly.
I love this topic.
It's a good one.
It is. It is. That was a great story. I'm so proud of you
Thank
too.
you.
I have seen
Thank
that
you.
shift in you, and I think that it feels like I can see it feel lighter for you and like
Yeah.
glowing. I'm so proud of you.
You're so sweet. Thank you. It does feel lighter, honestly. I know that sounds cliche, but I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
It's like a breath. Like, oh, my sister's an adult. My mom is an adult. They can figure it out.
Yeah. It
You
doesn't
know,
mean
like,
anything's different about how much you love them. It just means you
exactly.
recognize that it doesn't have to be your place. They can and will figure it out without you.
Right.
I love that. Go you, little Michelle,
Thank you.
current Michelle. All right. Well, you want to hear my story?
Yes.
It's pretty
Yes, I
similar.
do.
Ish.
Twins.
Always. It's that Desi connection, you know?
I know. It says something about South Asian households.
Right. For me, like I said, the second piece of what you had talked about of where it like originates, that really resonates for me because mine was born out of very like deeply rooted people pleasing and like validation seeking stuff. So, we've talked a little bit about how early on my people pleasing stemmed from like the praise of, oh, she's so like nice and she's such a good girl, right? Like, yes,
Good girl.
I had such a good girl complex
Yeah.
whenever I would fix things or like people please, it was very much this validation of and these labels that I really was like craving apparently of like, oh, she's so helpful, she's so nice, she's just a good girl, she's so sweet. And so like when you get praised like that and you start to identify, because those sound really nice, they feel good, then you start to identify with those labels, then you want to keep it going. You're like, okay, well then I have to fix things to be these things.
Right.
So if I am these things, then I need to continue to be doing these things, right? Like that's maybe not having a whole like conscious thought process here, but that's what's happening. That's what you're
It's like
learning.
you're learning that a certain behavior causes a
Yeah.
certain reaction. So I'm going to keep doing that behavior.
You like the reaction, you want to keep doing the behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, like we talked about, right? Like this is pretty widely existing in our communities. And my mom is 1,000% a super mom. And she does this. She is the fixer. And in some ways, so is my dad, more from like a family perspective, like just wider family perspective. But my mom is for like immediate family and like closer family relationships, friends. Like I see her be the fix it super mom like all the time. And so when you see that and like you see other people being appreciative of that, or like you see like sometimes mom is kind of like, oh, I like being able to do these things, right? Like you internalize these things as like, these are good things then. This is what we should be doing then, right? It's like a role model type of thing. So as you know, I definitely overdid it a lot. And because I overdid it, not because it was genuine for me, but because I was trying to do it for something, like chasing that validation or, feeding this label for myself, that people pleasing, what have you, it got to be very burdensome, right? There's a weight in that. You said, oh, it felt lighter because literally it is a burden. It feels heavy to carry that responsibility to always be the person to fix things and, all of that. So for me, what that kind of led to, all this like over responsibility taking, is eventually I snapped, as you know, you tend to do. The pressure cooker
Right.
exploded, so to speak. And that led to a lot of like resentment, burnout, anger management issues, you know, just like a lot of unlearning I needed to do to like detach this idea of I can be a good girl, I can be helpful, I could be nice, I could be sweet, and not always have to take on things
Mm-hmm.
to earn this title. I'm inherently these things because of my intentions
Mm-hmm.
and because I back it up with action. But that action does not need to exist 90% or 100% of the time that I'm being asked to do something, or I'm not even being asked to do it and I do it anyway. Right. So it was like unlearning that and learning what that balance looked like. So I still see myself as a fixer, but I don't claim this over fixer mentality where I'm constantly getting in there and doing things. Right. So it's like about finding that balance, what we were talking about. It's
Right.
not a bad thing. It can serve relationships, it can serve you, but you need to find the balance. So for
Set
example,
boundaries.
now, yeah, with the boundaries, exactly. So now when somebody like tells me something, I'm not gonna jump in there and be like, oh well, here's what we can do. Have you done this? Have you tried that? Like what okay, what about
Right.
this? I'm not looking to fix it. I'm just like, wow, that really sucks. You want to talk about it? And then they're like, no, it's fine. I'm like, okay, well, you got this. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
Or they're like, yeah, let's talk about it. I'm like, great. What have you tried? Okay. You want to hear what I would do? You know, like having that
Like, yeah.
with boundaries, like you said.
Yeah. It's so like easy to be like, oh yeah, like of course you need to do that. Like
Mhm.
put the ball in their court. They're the ones that are sharing the problem. But it's like a person with a fixer mentality, their intentions are good. And so they're just like they jump to these conclusions or just
Mhm.
jump to like, oh, like let me help you. Let me help
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But it's when you hear about like another person who's like practicing boundaries, you're like, oh, why is this not easy? It's
Mhm.
because again, it wasn't like you said, it wasn't modeled for us.
Yeah.
The opposite was modeled for us, right?
Right.
Like being the fixture mentality.
Yeah.
It
The
goes back
opposite
to like
was
setting boundaries. Like boundaries
reinforced.
is not something that we were
Mhm.
taught how to set. We had
Totally.
to learn it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of unlearning in some of these ways and then like rebalancing. None of these
Yeah.
things, you know, are bad outright, but they can be unhealthy. Anything that you do too much of is unhealthy.
Right.
We got to find our balance.
Too much of a good thing can be a bad thing.
Totally. Too much of a good thing, too much of a bad thing. Eh,
Right. Relative.
very relative. What is good? What is bad? What does that really mean? But yeah, I feel like that's been a struggle on and off, like it ebbs and flows for me too. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like, you know, there are some moments when I've actually noticed this recently-ish when things feel more messy in my life, like more things I can't control and people are coming to me with something that's happening for them. That's when I revert back to that, you know, like that old pathway of like that instinct to be like, oh, okay, well, here's what, and I have to catch myself and be like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't need control in this moment.
Right.
I don't need to do
Right.
that.
Because it gives you that sense of control that you
Yeah.
might not be
When you
feeling
don't
at
feel
that
it in
moment.
other
Yeah.
places. Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's an ebb and flow. It's tricky. It's
Right.
okay.
It is tricky.
Yeah. But that's my story.
No, I appreciate you kind of sharing your background too of like how you were raised. Because
Mm.
you're right. I mean, I could say the same thing about my parents. Like, my dad is the handyman in the family. Like, he'll drive across town to help things around the house for another
Mm.
family member, right? Like, he's the fixer or like literally, you
He's
know?
literally a Bob the Builder. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. And like my mom, I would say similar to your mom as well. Like she feels like she wants to help and
Mm.
fix other people's. I think it gives her like
Feels
validation.
good. Yeah.
It feels good to her, like
Yeah.
when she's
Whether
doing
it's just
something
like the
good.
act of helping or like what comes
Yeah.
later with like feedback, but like it feels good.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. And I think it goes back to like people's innate or kind of passion to help others.
Mm.
There's that fine blurred vision line between helping versus, controlling or like fixing when it's not
Right.
needed always.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing. So I feel like that line can be crossed. And I feel like it has been crossed that I've seen growing up. And so
Mm.
it's been normalized for me in my
Right.
high
So that's
school. So
okay.
like,
That's normal. You
hmm
can do it. You're
hmm
supposed to do it even.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you being vulnerable. Like I do appreciate you sharing that, when things are not going the best in your life, it is easy to fall back in the old
Totally.
patterns.
Yeah.
It's again, recognition is the first step,
Yeah.
right? It kind of healing and learning to cope appropriately and positively is not a straight line. Like it's
Totally.
progress. Like you might take
Yeah.
a few steps forward and then if, one or two steps backward. Like that's okay. You just keep moving forward.
Yeah,
Right? It's not a straight line.
exactly. And I don't
Right.
I don't even like see this as this is, I feel like, possibly a controversial take maybe, but I don't see this as something that has a finish line, right? So like when you're unlearning and like creating new balance for yourself, this is like what progress looks like.
Right.
Where you are able to be so aware and catch yourself when moments happen. Because the reality is, moments are going to happen. You're unlearning decades worth of programming inside of you.
Or more if it's generational, you know what I
Right,
mean?
exactly. And for the most part, like progress is really measured by the idea of like how long you can sustain that intentional practice and how
Right.
intensely or how quickly it comes back and like reverts back, right? But that reverting back, that relapse, so to speak, it's part of the cycle, it's part of the process. And it doesn't mean that you've regressed or you're not at that place where you need to be. It's just about recognizing that wiring may always be there, but more often than not, you practice this like intentional thing that's balanced and that feels good. And like that's progress too.
Progress
There's
over
no
perfection.
perfection. There is no
Progress
perfection.
over perfection. There's no
Yeah,
perfection.
exactly. That's what that looks like. That occasional nudge, but then you catch it and you're like, nope, not going to do that today.
Yeah. Well, that kind of goes back to our title. You might not be able to 100% fix the fixer mentality, and that's totally okay.
Yeah.
But you can work towards it.
Yeah. So we kind of got you with the title, right? Like messing
Yeah.
with
Gotcha. Psych. I'm just kidding.
fixing the fixer mentality. Just kidding. You can't.
Just kidding. Just kidding. It's progress. You can work towards it. I'm just surprised that we haven't done this. It goes along with so much that we've already done, like people pleasing and
Girl, we're only on season 3. It's okay.
I know. It's good though. It's a good topic. It's a good
You and I can keep talking about these mental topics forever.
ever and ever and ever.
Watch us come out with like season 30 and we're still like, we've got more.
Fixer mentality part 2, y'all.
I mean, honestly, yeah, there's so much to say on these topics too.
I know. I feel like our season 1 episodes, we can probably circle back
and spice them up, dig deeper. Totally.
I mean, the gaslighting haze, like, come on.
Ooh, that was a good one. The childhood blueprint. That was my personal fave. Love that.
Was a good one. Boundaries. What was this setting? What was the boundary one? I don't even remember. But I remember our saying, boundaries break cycles.
Yeah. It came up.
Nope, we're not going to visit that.
We're not going back there. If you want to know, go listen to that episode.
Episode 2 in season 1. We were so naive back then.
To be fair, we're still naive. We just got handed it to us by someone. Someone who's not naive, apparently.
There you go.
Wink, wink, you know who you are.
Yep, you do.
Alrighty then. Let's wrap up for today.
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay, so reminder, our lovely listeners, if our podcast has resonated with you today and you'd like to share your story with us or ask us any questions, you can reach us at talksouthasiantome@gmail.com. And you can find us on all the socials at the handle at talksouthasiantome. See you next episode.
See you next episode. Letter G, episode number 7. Got my numbers right. Bye.
No counting on your fingers this time.
Yeah, there you go.